Hey guys, I hope you're hungry. Welcome back to Full Incense. My name is Jericho, and this is War Stories. So for today's War Story, we are going to talk about the sensation that is Pokemon GO, and by we, I mean myself and CyannSentry.
Hello.
So, Pokemon has really, as long as I've been much into video games, has been my favorite franchise. Bar none. It's always been the video game that I love the very most, and I credit Pokemon with really getting into any other video games, honestly. And Pokemon GO, you know, they did the initial reveal trailer that was really cinematic and didn't really show what exactly it was going to be like, and then they did the beta test, and people were pretty nervous about what it would end up entailing, especially the diehard fans like me that didn't really know what to expect with such a wild deviation from the norm. But I can say for myself that I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Why don't you get your thoughts on it?
I know a lot of people are upset right now because of the server issues and the glitches and everything else. And yeah, it's frustrating, but it's gonna get better. And the actual gameplay when it works is really fun. It's making, at least speaking for myself and my husband, we've been outside, we've been exercising, and we really don't do that. We like to sit inside and play video games. So this is pretty novel that we're this active, and I know it's the same for a lot of other people that just don't normally do that.
Like, it's rare that we would exercise, but near impossible that we would go outside to do it.
Right.
But we've walked 5Ks the last 2 mornings and really have no intention of stopping because it's fun.
Yeah, it's
exciting.
fun. Like, even when I do exercise, okay, even if I'm glad I did it because I feel better, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, never fun, but this is fun. Like, I really, if it was not for my feet being covered in blisters from the last 2 days, like, I would want to go walk again, even though it's the heat of the day now.
Right.
Because I know I'll enjoy it. And that's really amazing. Like, I think Nintendo have accidentally stumbled across the most effective exercise app ever. And, like, I know, like, kind of waddling around and trying to catch Pokemon all the time and stopping is not the best exercise, but what we've been doing is we have a park near our house that has a Pokestop, which basically is a point of interest on your map where you can get free items. So we walk the walking trail just like you would normally, but we can get the Pokestop and hatch eggs and just be kind of in the Pokemon world as we're doing our workout, doing our exercise. So we're not really stopping. It's a full, you know, walking around the map.
And we're able to, you can get eggs in the game that you put in incubators and you walk to hatch them just like in the Pokemon games. So that's another reason to keep walking. The only downside of that for us is we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. We're in a very, very rural area, and so there aren't many Pokemon that just occur in nature out there.
Right.
Just because the computers don't know to put them there. So I'm hoping that's going to be a patch later on. But we are about to possibly move in the next few months. So it will be in a more city area, so we'll be able to get to a lot more Pokemon.
Yeah, it tends to be that more populous areas are better for Pokemon. But the one good thing about where we live is there's a lot of history. So there's the like the historical government placed signs and things like that. So we have a good amount of the Pokestops and a gym right down the road right now. So that's really cool.
Yeah, if you don't know where to start, definitely, like, if you have any downtown area and you know there are historical points, like, I'm sure a bunch of you are from the south, so you probably know a couple of places where, like, for instance, we have a Sherman sign, like a sign from when Sherman came through the area.
March to the Sea.
Yeah. So if you have anything like that, that's a good place to start. And churches seem to be very popular.
Yeah, churches and post offices, I have heard about being gyms or Pokestops more often than not. So yeah, definitely check those out. And if there is a Pokestop, then there's usually Pokemon too. It might not be all the time, all over the place, but we definitely have better luck when there's other things the Pokemon tend to gather there.
Right.
Another thing that I would recommend when you're trying to get started is ride in the car with somebody and just watch the map, because
have the passenger watch the map.
Yeah.
The driver should not be looking at this at all.
Well, that's why I said ride in the car with somebody.
Yeah, I know, but just to clarify, we're not advocating looking at this while you're driving.
But anyway, and then you can see, you can see the points of interest as you go by, and you can know, okay, I need to come back to this town, and I can, do what I want to do.
And if you're going slow enough, the passenger might be able to actually catch a few Pokemon on the way.
Another kind of little tip, I mean, we're just discovering things about the game like everybody else, but these are just our findings. But if you're going to the Pokestop, you have to spin, there's like a little picture of the point of interest. You have to spin it to get your items. But what you can do is after you spin it, you can go ahead and close it out and not worry about it anymore, because the items get added to your inventory automatically.
Right.
So if you're in a hurry, like if you pass a Pokestop and then a Pokemon shows up, or there are two Pokestops right next to each other, you can get them both doing that.
Right, you don't have to wait for it to spin down.
So the game, for all the fun it is and all the exercise benefits and all that, it does have a lot of glitches and bugs. So I would encourage you to. There are several pages on Twitter that are dedicated to the server status, so I would recommend you sort of check before you use one of your items. There's an item called Incense. That's why my YouTube channel is full Incense, by the way, is because of Incense in Pokemon games. But there's an item called Incense that attracts Pokemon to your locations. You can just be sitting around at home and still get consistent Pokemon encounters. But the worst thing that could happen is if you use it and then the servers are down for the next half an hour and it's completely wasted. So I would recommend sort of checking on the server status before you do anything like that, so that it's not wasted. And I mean, of course, it's never foolproof, but something to keep in the back of your mind. The other, so besides catching Pokemon and hatching eggs, there are also gyms, which we've kind of made mention to, and the gyms are controlled by one of three teams. There's the red team, which is Team Valor, with the mascot being the legendary bird Moltres. Team Instinct, which is yellow, with the mascot being Zapdos, and then finally the team we're on, Mystic, is blue with Articuno. So each of the three gyms can control each of the three gyms can control the team. If it's your team, you can fortify it by adding more Pokemon. It's just like in the Pokemon games, how there are junior trainers in the gym that you have to beat before you can beat the leader. You have to kind of run a gauntlet of the opposing team's trainers before you can capture it for your own side. And if it is belonging to the opposite team, then you can try to capture it. But that's another area of the game that has a lot of glitches. They usually call it the 1 HP glitch. It's always the last Pokemon in the gym that you would claim it if you beat them, but they get stuck on 1 HP, so you can't knock them out and win. But one fix that I read about online that was effective today when I was recapturing some of the gyms around town is what you want to do is tap slowly. So you tap on the screen to attack in the gym, but take your time. Don't tap any more than maybe 1 a second, because you still attack. If you don't attack any faster, if you're tapping faster,
right?
You attack as quickly as you can. So if you freak out, I think it kind of overloads it. The game freaks out a little bit. So
yeah, it was much more effective just to take your time and just tap, 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 tap instead of as fast as you can. And
it still is a bit buggy, but since we've been doing that, we've been able to claim the gyms. We haven't really had the glitch happen much.
Yeah, the most recent glitch we've encountered was we defeated the residing team, and then
I did it at the exact same time as that guy.
And then when you leave it and go to reclaim it, that last Pokemon is still there in full health, so you have to defeat it again. But I mean, it's a couple of items, so
right.
It's not a huge deal, but it's a little annoying.
And generally speaking, it's a lot easier to take a gym or I mean, sorry, to capture a gem that hold it, because when you're trying to capture it, you can use 6 Pokemon, and in our experience, the most an enemy gym has had is 3. They can possibly have more, I believe, but each person can only put 1, so they can't really have it that loaded unless there's just a ton of people in your area.
Right.
So,
apparently, by the way, Pokemon Go is really, really popular in the Disney World parks right now.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Like, there are a bunch of stops and gyms, and people are just kind of keeping all the Pokestops stocked with a gosh, I can't think of the name, a lure item, which brings Pokemon to the area. So people are just racking up over there.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
The White House keeps changing hands between the 3 different teams too. The North Fountain is a gym, and they keep like whoever you can't see other people's nicknames, but whoever claims it will put their own screenshot so you can see their nicknames. So they're like Eradicate named Donald Trump was the one there for a while, and just stuff like that. So I think that it feels like how the Pokemon phenomenon first felt when I was in elementary school. Like, everybody's talking about it, it's exciting, and it's a free game. Like,
we even got my mom to play.
Who knows nothing about Pokemon. Because it's just fun, and it's really graspable in this sense. And like I said, I'm a hardcore Pokemon fan. I've played every single game. I obsess over it. I love it. It's my favorite game series of all time. And I know, all the ins and outs of like all the crazy, stat things and what level this guy evolves and what moves, all that sort of stuff. But I don't feel like it's dumbed down, or the ways in which it's dumbed down are just to make it accessible so that everybody can play. And when you look back to Red, Yellow, and Blue, they were pretty dumbed down compared to what we have nowadays anyway. So to get more people exercising and more people excited about Pokemon again, like, I think it's well worth it to not have like IVs in Pokemon Go. When it still is pretty deep, like, people are still trying to figure out how exactly the combat points, CP, work, and what Pokemon can come out of what egg, and all sorts of things like that. So, I don't know, I definitely feel like it has a lot of space to grow in a good way.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any closing thoughts before we get too rambly?
I don't think so. Just, I'm having fun with it, and I'm looking forward to any updates that they have.
So I know that I do have like very few international viewers. So unfortunately, Pokemon Go is only available in America, New Zealand, and Australia officially at the time of this recording. But if you are in America, it's for free on the App Store or the or Google Play Store. So check it out. Let me know if you like it in the comments down below. And I don't fancy myself an expert or anything, but I do know a lot of like frequently asked questions, so feel free to use the comments down below as like a little forum, and I'll definitely answer all your questions as well as I'm able to, or direct you to a place that can answer better than I. So thanks as always for watching. War Stories are every Tuesday and Thursday here on the channel, but we have something coming every single day. Thank you to CyannSentry for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you guys next time. I don't know about you, but we're full.